cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in to. It's time again to cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in to. It's the number one podcast. The topics of discussion when we broadcast. So all them artificial man jokes, we do it natural from the concrete to a public standpoint. Real, wherever you're from, life is coexisting, but to know the real, you just gotta listen. Wherever you're from, life is coexisting, but to know the real, you just gotta listen.
What up, everybody, and welcome to the 52 Scott Podcast. This is For Women Wednesday. I'm your host, Freddie G, joined by my co-host, K Money, Slash, and Comedian 96. Collectively, we are the Mind of Men. Don't forget to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Scott Podcast. On Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast. And for all my YouTubers, don't forget to like and subscribe. And welcome to another Women Wednesday. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, niggas and niglettes, class is now in session. In today's curriculum, some of you females are going to learn why you lost a good man. Some of you females are going to learn that you're on the verge of losing a good man. And some of you females are going to learn how to keep your man. And finally, some of you dudes are going to learn that when it comes to women, you're selling yourself short. Let's face it. Most women know how to get a man. The problem is, some women don't know how to keep a man. Not to mention, some men don't know their self-worth. So it doesn't take much to win them over. With that being said, some of you ladies have drank the Kool-Aid, believing the myth that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Not to mention, the way to keep a man happy is to give him sex when he wants it. Now, this is where I may step on some toes, if I haven't already. Some of you men, all y'all require from a woman is to fuck them and feed them. The problem with that is those men have sold themselves short. And so some women have adopted the fuck them and feed them mentality. That mentality has made women delusional because they think all they need to do to keep a man is fuck him and feed him. And some of you men are walking around thinking, I got a prize catch. That also make you delusional. Guys, know your self-worth. Some of you guys are selling yourself short for pussy and a plate. I repeat that. Guys, know your self-worth. Some of you guys are selling yourself short for pussy and a plate. And speaking of plate, here's food for thought. If she cooks, she's eating too. If she gives you sex, she's climaxing too. So ask yourself, is she cooking for me? Is the sex for me? Or is it for her? She could very well be thinking, I'm hungry, so I'm going to cook. Or she could be thinking, I want some dick, so I'm going to initiate sex. Now, before I dive in, or before we dive into this subject, fellas, let me share a personal thought of mine. And that is, I believe one of the best things a woman can do for her man is to give him peace of mind. I'm going to repeat that. I believe one of the best things a woman can do for her man is to give him peace of mind. Now, with that being said, I've listed a few things here, fellas. I believe a woman needs to know in order to keep a man. So, fellas, other than feeding him, giving him sex, and the obvious, respecting him, what can a woman do to keep her man and not run him away?
Pay attention to him. his needs, not just sexual needs, but emotional needs.
I would say stop creating scenarios in your head. That takes away from the peace. Don't.
I would say a strong supportive system.
Great one.
Behind your husband or your guy, ladies, is what's going to keep him there. Because without that strong support system and everything that he do, because you got to understand that whatever he's doing, and depending on how he feel about you, he's doing it for both of y'all.
Yeah, so lift him up.
Yeah, so be supportive in his actions. Yeah, instead of breaking him down, let him rise, help him get up.
Yes.
Okay, I can buy that. So what I'm gonna do, I have a list here, right, that I created, and I'm gonna mention the things on the list, and I want y'all to give y'all opinions, share your thoughts on what I listed here. Okay, so the first thing I have on the list is don't question everything he do.
Depends. Yes.
No, I totally agree with that.
I agree with it, but some things, I can see why you would question me, because sometimes we do stuff that kind of, I'm not saying every time. Don't question me every time, but if it looks suspicious, if you don't like what you see, ask me. But don't start an argument over it.
I agree with the don't question, but also I do understand the reason for their questioning, because we think differently. They see a different side of what we see when we looking at a logical side. They see that differently, so they have questions because they don't understand that point of view. So, but as being a man, you have to already know, okay, she's gonna question, but what is your answer? How do you counter that question with the right question to keep her from getting upset? Because she's got to understand you.
I totally agree with you, Slash. If you don't understand, that's what one should do, is ask. So, however, like Freddie G said, I think don't question every single thing. Some things, the answer is actually in the question.
Right.
A lot of times that females can ask us. So I can see myself looking at my girl like, fuck.
Yeah.
I know you listening to yourself.
It's almost like, why did you jump the gun and create that?
Well, it's like this. If you question me every time or everything, I don't like that. But like
because she don't trust you if she's questioning everything.
Now, if you ask something and it kind of looks suspicious, and then I answer you and you good with the answer, don't carry on and assume and make scenarios in your head. And I just clearly told you I'm gonna just go to the store and get some bottled water.
Here's the thing. When it comes to that, women were taught a certain thing. Coming up, they moms taught them something that our mom didn't teach us. Mm-hmm. And I think what happened was there was a bit of information that mom left out because mom couldn't teach what the man understood, which is why a 2-parent household was definitely necessary for these types of situations to even make sense. So she couldn't teach the daughter what the dad was supposed to teach her. So it was half of that story was left out. And this is why we are where we are now, where we're trying to understand each other, after so many years, because it was missing. It was a step missing. The mom taught the daughter one thing and one thing only, and she had to take it. The daughter had to take it further in understanding, depending on who she was dealing with. And I think the mom can't give you the logistics on a person that she doesn't know, in the future. So I think that's kind of why women ask the questions, because they don't know the other half.
So basically, y'all made some good points. So basically, what I'm hearing is that it's okay for a woman to question. Just don't question everything.
Yeah, you got some of it you got to look at and try to understand on your own.
Yeah, because if you don't question me then at that point it just makes you seem like you don't care.
Well, here's the thing,
and I don't want a woman that don't care.
Here's the thing: too many questioning factors can become a negative issue.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
I agree. I was just about to say.
Right, that's why I said don't question me on everything.
That's what I just.
Yeah.
That's what I was just saying. I said, okay, it sounds like it's okay to question, and you made a good point.
It becomes negative.
Negative. Yeah. it's okay to question, just don't question everything.
Yeah, and make scenarios up in your head that don't exist. If I just told you I'm going to the store,
Well, they're gonna do that. That's just them.
I can't stand it. Look, baby, I'm gonna go to Walmart and get a box some
Man, let me
bottle of
tell
water. You gonna get them bitches?
Now,
What bitches?
see, here's the thing. They already got it figured out.
They think
before
they do.
you did it.
They think they
and that's
do.
the problem.
Yeah,
they've already figured out
They're gonna
what
tell
they're
you what
gonna
hotel
do.
you going to. They're gonna tell you, but you gonna take the bitch.
They're gonna give you the girl name if you let them.
Now, see, these are the type of questions that work my nerve. Let's say, babe, where you going? Oh, I'm finna go to the store. Oh, you going to the store in your car?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to the store. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. Okay,
You know.
so, ladies, file this in your memory bank. When a woman questions a man constantly, it makes him feel like he make bad choices,
Right.
or he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
And that's a form of the word I'm looking for, Freddie G. I know you know it. Not a form of disrespect, but a form of abuse. Mental.
It can be.
It is.
Can be.
It
Can lead to
can
that.
be.
You know,
It
so
definitely can.
so that's a very important factor in relationships, man. The women, y'all have to try and understand the person that you're dealing with, and not think about what your past was or what you've seen in your past, what your friends did, what your friends are saying. See, they soak up too much unnecessary stuff.
And speaking of past, here's my next one. Don't use his past against him.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. I agree with that too.
And
As
the reason
well.
why I say that is because everybody got a pass.
Yeah.
She got a pass.
And
Okay.
if you don't want your past brought up,
Hey,
then
don't use mine against
Exactly.
me.
Right,
I'm not
right.
saying I wasn't the greatest in my past. I wasn't the greatest. Do everything right in my past, and I don't think none of us were. But even at the same time, I don't think it's meant to even come back because again, how are we going to get to the future if we keep going back in the
Yeah,
past?
you can't progress.
Okay. So I'm going to come to the defense of the women on this one. I'm going to be honest on that past. Would you date a girl or even married at our age and you knew her in the past, how she got down, and she probably just stopped getting down maybe a couple of years, 5 years ago to try to find a man.
Okay.
Knowing her past,
Now,
would
hold-
you
hold
take
on,
it
hold on.
serious? Go ahead.
I'm gonna let you cook on that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you cook on it. But listen, we're saying, other than feeding him,
Right.
fucking him,
I get it.
respecting him, what can a woman do to keep her man? And I went down the list. The first thing on my list was don't question him about everything
Right.
that he do. Now the next thing on my list is don't use his past
His past. I get it.
against him. Now,
But it's a two-way street.
yeah, I get it.
That's what
get
I
it.
mean.
And actually, Slash touched on, and I get the two-way street part.
Yeah,
Slash touched on it when he said you got to pass too. The female got to pass too. And I'm going to share my opinion in regards to that, but I wanted to reiterate that to you before I let you.
Yeah, I
continue
knew.
To cook.
I
So
knew. We
continue
was,
to
I
cook.
knew.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I knew we were talking about men, but it's a two-way street when it come to that. The past.
Now,
I'm on the fence. I'll tell you this. I'm on the fence on this.
Here's a counter to what you was saying, Comedian 96. You know this girl's past. You know what she did in her past. My thing is, and this is just in general, would I, knowing her past, still try to date her and be with her at a time like today, knowing her past? No, I wouldn't. You know why? Because I know your past. And I can't change that. And I'm not going to live with your past.
So now I want y'all to think about something because you're making good points. But here's what I want you to think about. Notice at the opening of the show, I said that some of the females are going to learn why they lost a good man. So if you lost him, that means you had it.
That's right.
Then I said some of you females are going to learn that you're on the verge of losing a good man, which means that you already got him. It's just that he thinking about bouncing.
Yeah, I'm bumping heads.
Then I said some of you females are going to learn how to keep your man. So in these situations when y'all talking about past, Meaning you meet some girl, you know she got a pass and all that. No.
Yeah.
She already got you.
Yeah.
Y'all
already there.
together.
That's right.
You already together.
Yeah.
So when I mention don't bring up his past against him, and I get it. And Slash, you really touched on when you said, "Nah, you got a pass too." So now I want y'all to tackle that, knowing that you're in a relationship, and here's what you did, Comedian 96. You're in a relationship, and you know what you did?
What I did?
You went out and you hung out with Freddie G, and you and Freddie G hung out to 3:30 in the morning. Nah, better yet, you and Freddie G hung out to 4 o'clock in the morning. Sun getting ready to come up, and you come in the house. Now, all you and Freddie G was doing was just out hanging and shooting pool and in the bar.
Smoking cigars.
Smoking cigars. Yeah, and just kicking it, right? We ain't smoking nothing else. Well, Freddie G ain't.
I'm not either.
And so we're just kicking it and hanging out. But 4 o'clock culture, 4 a.m. culture. Now you come in the house. Now she's kind of, y'all get into you get a little scolding from her, whatever the case may be. Now, 6-7 months pass. Now y'all get into another one, argument about something else. And she brings up the past when you and Freddie G hung out. So that's what it is. Y'all together.
Yeah.
But
and she bringing up past.
Bringing up
past her. So the thing is that don't use his past
every time
against him.
Every time.
So ladies, file this in your memory bank. He's human. He mess up.
Make
just like
mistakes.
you do.
Yes, indeed.
Now, really pay attention to this next statement. A weak person don't know how to forgive. A strong person can forgive. Know the difference between forgiveness and acceptance. Forgiveness isn't the same as acceptance. Accepting how he hurt you means you're okay with what he did. However, forgiving him is you realizing that he did. Let me rephrase that. You realizing that what he did wasn't about you. It was about him, his choices, and his faults. So the bottom line is, if you forgive the man, just let it go.
Right.
And realize that what he did didn't have nothing to do with you. It was about his choices, his decision making, and that's it. You ain't got to accept what he did.
Right.
Because if you're accepting what he did, that means that you're okay with what he did.
with it.
And you really, truly not. So, y'all agree or disagree?
No, I agree.
I agree.
And I also agree with, the bringing up stuff from the past and to argue about, that's just saying you haven't let that go yet. And you hurt by that. And we understand, but if it's hurting you that much to where you have to keep bringing it up, then maybe you should be off to yourself and get yourself together first. I think a lot of ladies choose to not do that because they don't want to be alone. Some women do good on their own, and that's no problem. But at the same time, if you keep bringing up the man's past or something that y'all have argued about once before, then you really hurt by that, and you in your feelings at this point. Leave that alone. Let that go.
So, here's another one. If you ask him a question and you want to know the truth, don't get mad when he tell you the truth.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That happens a lot. I just actually, that was something that the radio station was doing this past week that I heard it, and I actually saw this on IG. We listen, but we don't judge.
Yeah.
And that's kind of in that instance. If they asking the question and they really can't handle the truth, don't listen.
Ooh, that boy took that on the chin like it was nothing, nigga. I would have fainted. She said it was too big.
What you talking about?
You talking about the one where the lady was the listeners don't judge when the husband and wife was talking, and he didn't mean to do it. I know he did. He ended up kind of asking her, so you mean to tell me you ran across one that was uncomfortable? And she said, Yeah, it was. I didn't know at the time, but yeah, it was too big. And he was like, I mean, he took it on the chin though, but I could tell, boy, his eyes, they got big as.
So what you just did
Yeah.
is you used the lady who told
Her
the
husband's truth. Right. But he started off first, telling the truth, but it was a small truth. Hers was bigger.
She could have been lying. She could have been just saying that to try and affect him.
Well, no,
to
because
control the situation.
So-
I'm gonna be
so-
honest. He asked the question, so he actually did it
He
to
shouldn't ask.
himself.
Let
He
me
shouldn't ask.
rephrase. Let
He
me
did it
rephrase
to
that.
himself. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me mention this again, and then I'm gonna spin it.
Okay.
Because I'm hearing what you're saying. So, if he, if you ask him a question, meaning ladies, if you ask him a question, and you want to know the truth, don't get mad when he gives you the truth. When he tells you the truth, right? So I'm listening to you talk about the lady telling the guy that this other guy, which is the truth. So let me spin it. Who's more apt to get mad when you tell them the truth?
The
a
woman.
man or a woman?
The woman. I will say this. I told the truth one time, and it was about intimacy. That woman was smart enough to try to fix it and make herself better than the description I gave before, which was awesome. She didn't get mad. That's only one time
Well,
that
that's
happened.
what she was
Yeah,
supposed to
that's
that
the-
was awesome. Only one
that's
time.
the
But
more
most
mature
time
way
when
to reach-
I be truthful, they'll hang up, never call something
So,
like that.
So are we all in agreement that when it comes to receiving the truth, if a person is asking the truth and they're looking for it, and then when they hear the truth, are we all in agreement that women usually get upset before men?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think the percentage is higher on
Okay.
women.
Depending on
Getting
what
upset.
was asked.
Okay, so with that being said, ladies, file this in your memory bank. If you want him to be honest with you, allow space for him to share his real, true thoughts. Getting mad and criticizing him will only create distance between you and him. So, moving on to the next one. Understanding he has his own way of thinking.
Number one. I mean that just as men and women, period.
Yeah, you answer my
There-
question.
There's a difference in the way men act and a difference women. We have to also understand the way women work, the way their mentality works. Of course, we sitting here today talking about some of it, but vice versa. Women, you have to know how the mind frame of a man works, or not every man, but the one that you at least dealing with. So that
Yeah.
means you have to study some of his actions
Exactly, to be able to understand.
to be able to understand it, and listen to him. Don't just take every conversation for granted when he's talking to you. Listen to him. You're going to find out who the man really is. And then you can determine how to deal with this guy, because just a few conversations with anybody determines whether they're intelligent or not, how smart they may be, what they may and may not know, just within the first 5 or 10 minutes of a conversation. So imagine being in a relationship with somebody for a year or 2, 3 years or something. Y'all should really know each other if y'all been handling the format the proper way, if you've been listening to each other, and instead of trying to answer, without listening. If you listening and you talking back, within a conversation and not creating a new conversation every time the man say something, then you'll probably learn something about the person.
So let me ask y'all this. Do y'all agree or disagree that when a man is worried about something, most of the time before he let out what he's worried about, he's thinking how to solve the issue within his head?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
always.
That's what we do.
I could say
And then they
100%
hit you
of the
with
time,
you.
yeah.
What you thinking about?
Okay. I'm glad I'm glad we all can agree. So ladies, file this in your memory bank. Your man worries and think about all kinds of things. He don't share them with you because he doesn't want you to think he's weak or can't handle the situation. He wants to be strong for you. It's part of his DNA not to show fear, even when faced with adversity. Every issue that he's facing, he wants to try to solve it on his own before asking for help.
Because in reality, you've got an answer, females. If he comes to you with a situation, you're listening to the situation, and most of the time, 9 times out of 10, you have a solution, but that's not going to be the best solution for him because he don't operate that way. So if it's not because he's withholding information from you, it's just he's trying to have a positive outcome for whatever it is he got going. It could be something dealing with the both of y'all. You know what I'm saying? He's just trying to make sure he have a positive outcome. So it's going to take him some time to think hard on what it is he's trying to do because he don't want to make mistakes. But women, you'll get an attitude and try to rush the man for a situation. I saw a couple do something the other day, man and wife, husband and wife, and I noticed that the husband was under fire just in a short period of time because they had to do something within a short period of time. And when he was like, well, we need to make a decision. Are you going to do this or are you going to do that? She was like, well, we need to do it now because da-da-da-da-da-da-da. We got to be here. And that's understandable. But give this man a chance to figure out what's going to be more responsible thing to do than just hurrying up and making a suggestion on something and it don't work out.
Yeah, we don't process information as quick as females do.
Yeah. A good
Now, we take our time to think about it.
Exactly. So, and good example. I have a great example. I was dating, I can't say who, but well, they'll know. I was dating somebody and we were living together. We were in this apartment. When we first got it, great deal on the apartment. Went in, no pests, no nothing. We didn't see anything. But when we started cooking, every time we started cooking, roaches would just come, fall in the food every time. We were there maybe a month. We had to hurry up and find somewhere else to move. So in my mind, I'm like, man, what can we do? I need to hurry up. And I said, you know what? I'm going to try to find. So I was looking, right? I was looking. Now, I went to work. When I went to work, I was in an apartment. When I came back, I was in a house. She made that decision on her own. I needed to process, but you went and moved too fast and moved us into a house thinking, oh, I did a great job. We got into the house every time, every other week. We had a foot of sewage in the whole entire house. House is nice, but it flooded. So you went from bad to worse.
So y'all went from Joe's apartment to shit factory.
Exactly. We went from an apartment to a house, but shit factory.
All because she couldn't wait.
Yeah, exactly. She wanted to make the decision on you. Yeah, just doing it on your own.
Yeah, they do that, man, and I haven't understood, that. And for me, that part doesn't work out because I'm gonna be vocal about it.
Yeah, I'm like,
you should,
yeah, you
bro.
didn't even ask me nothing. I'm thinking I'm gonna come home to my apartment. She said, yeah, you're at the wrong place. You need to come. Are you kidding me? You bought a whole house without my consent?
How did you react? I mean, at first, before you found out it was a shit factory, what was your reaction like?
Well, when I first seen her, I was like, okay, I was still mad because you made the decision without me. You took it upon yourself to get this house without even asking me.
So had it not been a shit factory, you still would have been mad.
Yes, definitely, 100%.
Okay,
because that's a big decision.
It is.
A house,
I agree.
Car,
Yeah, where you live.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's a huge.
Okay, so my next one here is understanding and respect his parenting.
Dude, that's a big one. Yes.
Understand and respect his
parenting.
Oh,
Thank
parenting.
goodness I haven't had any problems with either my daughter's mother because they know I'm crazy. And my daughters just don't get out of line. And thank God. They just don't.
Right.
Okay. So, ladies with children, file this in your memory bank. If your man is the biological father or the stepfather of your child, don't undermine his parenting when he's parenting in the way that he sees fit. Undermining him only robs the children of the care and discipline they need. Eventually, if you continue to do that, it's going to drive a wedge between you and him. So, one more before I close. Don't speak for him. He can speak for himself.
That's a good one, yeah. It's cute sometimes. Well, only in one instance. When if I'm getting aggressive with others, I like for my woman to have my back. She ain't gotta speak for me, but sometimes they get loud and they'll speak first. Not that she's speaking for me, but she's kind of thinking what I was gonna say. I appreciate that, babe. And in my mind, I'm like, you better not hit my gal because it's gonna be on. So that is the only instance. But other than that, don't speak for me. You don't know what I'm thinking. You don't know what's going on in my head.
Yeah, I don't want them to speak for me or think for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, ladies, file this in your memory bank. Your man is not your child. He's a grown-ass man. Treating him like a child will eventually cause him to mentally disconnect from the relationship. And at some point, he's going to realize you don't respect him as a man. And you will find yourself by yourself. So, with that being said, fellas, I'm going to come to a close here. I'm sure a few of our female listeners may feel like they didn't learn anything from today's lesson, simply because their relationship with their significant other is strong and is still intact. If that's the case, keep doing what you do. However, for some of y'all, your man may be physically there, but mentally he's long gone, which means you wasn't able to keep him. In addition, a few of our male listeners may feel like they didn't learn anything from today's episode. Especially because for them, if she's cooking and if she's giving him pussy on the regular, that's a sign that shows him that she cares. Well, it's guys like you who contribute to the mindset of women with the fuck 'em and feed 'em mentality. Man up. Know your self-worth. Don't just settle for a full stomach and empty nuts. This concludes another dope episode. Tune in tomorrow for Think Thursday. Don't forget to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Scott Podcast, on Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast. And for all my YouTubers, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Remember, the only way we grow is if you let them know.